happening? What's happening? What's happening? What's happening? What's happening? What's happening? It's your active and your attractive host, Paiddacost Podcast. Teflon Don. Today's episode is all about Michigan urges health officials sexually transmitted diseases on the rise. Man, it's crazy. Let's talk about it. Gotta talk about this. You know what I'm talking about, Kalamazoo? I paid the cost to talk about this. That's right. Let's talk about this, Kalamazoo. Let's get it, Michiganders. Be aware, Michigan. Be aware, Michigan. Health officials urges sexually transmitted infections are on the rise. Man, that's crazy. That's crazy. Let me read a list. Let me read a little subject matter of this. They say plenty of illness and diseases have been concerned about, and have been an alarming rise in sexually transmitted diseases, infections in Michigan counties. Health officials are concerned of the urging of Michigan residents to get tested immediately. Wow. According to the CDC, cases of sexually transmitted diseases continue on the rise in Michigan at an alarming rate. Most of the CDC data shows 25 million cases of syphilis, gonorrhea, and chlamydia are reported in the United States, according to the CDC. Recent data, Wayne County, Muskegon, Kalamazoo counties have been the highest sexually transmitted disease rates. But cases of one infected popular surges across the Great Lakes states. Man, that's crazy. So what they really urging you is, they saying Kalamazoo has one of the highest sexual transmitted diseases in Michigan. And they urge you to get tested, right away. Michigan Department of Health and Human Services says syphilis cases have doubled in Michigan between 2017 and 2023. Wow. But I don't think there's most of us are educated on what diseases are, what they really are. So I got a little snippet that I want y'all to see, and I want y'all, to watch this work and kind of like educate y'all a little bit more on what chlamydia is and how it affects the body. So check this out.
Chlamydia is the most common bacterial sexually transmitted disease or infection worldwide. It's more common in women than men. The germs that cause the infection are tiny bacteria called Chlamydia trachomatis. You can catch chlamydia from an infected person during vaginal, anal, or oral sex. And if a pregnant woman has chlamydia, she can pass it to her baby as the baby moves through the birth canal during childbirth.
You better understand this.
In your body, the infection begins when the bacteria attach to cells in the tissue that lines many of your body cavities, called mucosal epithelium. Once attached, the bacteria begin to invade this tissue. Inside the cell, the bacteria start multiplying. When they escape to infect other cells, the bacteria may leave the cell they came from intact.
Y'all better listen to this information.
Or the cell may be destroyed as the bacteria are released. The bacterial infection causes the body's own immune cells to enter the tissue. This inflames and damages the tissue as your immune cells try to clear the infection. Unfortunately, some of the bacteria can avoid immune destruction inside of your cells. The main risk for getting chlamydia is having unprotected oral, anal, or vaginal sex with the person who's infected. You may have a high risk if you are sexually active.
No, let's talk about some of the risks of being infected. Some of the risk factors are unprotected sex, young people, uh, having sex with a infected person. These are things that we should already know. We should already be educated on how to protect ourselves as far as if you're sexually active. It's too many people out here. They use sex as it's as something that that you can exchange freely and think that it's something that's safe. But all sex ain't safe. And having sex, having multiple partners, that really ain't safe. Um, so let's get back into some more of this.
And or a young person, especially a young woman, don't always use condoms during sex. Have more than one sex partner. Or a man who has sex with men. Many people have no symptoms.
Fucked up.
If symptoms do occur, they may not appear until several weeks after infection. Symptoms a woman may have include an abnormal discharge from the vagina or birth canal, painful sex, or a burning feeling while urinating. A man may have similar symptoms such as an abnormal discharge from the penis, a burning or itching feeling at the tip of the penis, or a burning feeling while urinating. In both men and women, chlamydia may also infect the rectum, which is the last part of the large intestine. Symptoms of infection in the rectum may include pain, abnormal discharge, or bleeding. Left untreated, the infection may cause pelvic inflammatory disease in women. This means the infection is spread to the uterus and fallopian tubes. Pelvic inflammatory disease can lead to pain in the pelvis, infertility, which means not being able to get pregnant, or ectopic pregnancy, meaning a pregnancy that grows outside of the uterus, usually in one of the fallopian tubes. Such a pregnancy cannot be successful. If a woman gives birth while having untreated chlamydia, her baby may be born early, have an eye infection called ophthalmia neonatorum, or have pneumonia. In both men and women, untreated chlamydia can cause reactive arthritis. This is painful swelling in joints as a reaction to the infection. The good news is that chlamydia can be cured with antibiotics, such as doxycycline or azithromycin. You may also be prescribed a second antibiotic, such as ceftriaxone, to treat possible infection with another sexually transmitted disease called gonorrhea. People who have chlamydia are often infected with gonorrhea at the same time. It's important to know that treatment may not fix any damage the disease has already done to your body. You can reduce your risk of getting chlamydia if you only have sex with one long-term partner who doesn't have sex with other people, and who has been tested for chlamydia and doesn't have it. And you can practice safer sex, which means taking steps before and during sex to prevent you from getting or spreading chlamydia. For example, using condoms correctly every time you have sex can reduce your risk. The most reliable way to avoid getting chlamydia is to practice abstinence. This means not having vaginal, anal, or oral sex. To find out more about chlamydia, talk to your healthcare practitioner.
Yeah, so we gotta get better, Kalamazoo. We gotta get better. Like I said, as I read this news brief, where it says, the CDC urges, and I repeat again, it say, beware, Michigan health official urges sexual transmitted infection testing cases are on the rise. I said it to say, Kalamazoo, we got to get better. When they say, Michigan, Kalamazoo is, one of the highest testing rates of STDs, in Michigan. I don't want to die for something that I love. Because everybody loves sex. You should. That's natural. But personally, I don't want to die for doing something that I love. So I urge everybody to to get tested and have safe sex. Stop being reckless out here. Because if you know better, you'll do better. So let's let's get this thing together, Michigan, and have some some morals and some standards about ourselves, because this shit is it's getting a little bit too much, you know what I mean? The accountability of reckless sex is potentially death, and that's something that you got to look at, and we can't just keep on making it seem like it, that's something that is not, won't occur. That's the only outcome of unprotected sex. When you're messing with an affected person and you don't know that, you know what I mean? Because the infection is covered up. You know what I mean? You don't, that beauty, that you're looking at, you don't know that this woman is infected. She don't know that man is infected. You know what I mean? So you got to be aware and be conscious on how you move. So that's another episode of Paiddacost Podcast. And it's called protecting you. You know what I mean? That's what you got to do. They got to protect you. You know what I mean? Because like I said, Michigan, be aware. STDs are on the rise. In Kalamazoo, it's a shame that people is not understanding that. I mean, you can have fun, but having it got to be in moderation. You know what I mean? And you can't do it recklessly. Anything you do, you can't do reckless. So let's get it together, Kalamazoo. That's another episode of Paiddacost Podcast.